It's never just a hug. If a woman hugs you, something's being measured, something's being tested, something's being told without a single word. You can feel it, that extra second she holds on, the way she pulls in or stays stiff, the way her hands touch your back. That hug? It's a calculated message. You're not just being embraced, you're being evaluated. Men ignore it, laugh it off, call it sweet, innocent. But every time she wraps her arms around you, she's sending a clear message. Comment, I see it now, if you're done being blind to what's right in front of you. Number 1, she's testing your confidence. When she hugs you and you lean in emotionally, you've already leaned out of your own frame, because what you think is physical connection, she experiences as psychological leverage, and the test begins not when she touches you, but when you respond to the touch with need instead of groundedness. When you interpret her hug as validation, you've already revealed your dependency on it, and what she's observing is not your affection, but your structure or lack of it. Because the majority of men walking through this world today are walking shells of certainty. Every interaction is a quiet plea for reassurance, and women feel that whether they say it or not, they're watching how quickly your self-worth adjusts, depending on the temperature of her attention. And you've felt it too. You've felt that rush when she initiates the hug, when her body presses in, when it feels like something clicked, and in that moment, your nervous system screams approval, validation, connection, and you exhale like the world finally made sense. But that's the problem, the fact that you waited for her to regulate your worth, and when she pulls away, as they all do, not to hurt you, but because they're checking the consistency of your presence. When she breaks the hug first, your whole energy dips and you think you hide it, but you don't. Your face changes, your tone softens, you laugh awkwardly, you glance at her looking for confirmation, and she sees all of it. Because women are not naive to emotion, they are fluent in it. And what most men don't realize is that the second your energy becomes reactional, her instinct is to pull back, not always consciously, but biologically, because what you've signaled in that moment is that you are incomplete and that you're willing to change your stability depending on her behavior. And that is the opposite of trust. She cannot trust a man who's only present when he's being affirmed. And this is where the brutal truth hits. Most men are addicted to microdoses of feminine approval, and they don't even know it. Every text she replies to, every smile she gives, every hug, every compliment acts like a drug, and without it, they withdraw. They start chasing, checking, overthinking, and in the process, destroy their own authority. And if that's been your pattern, it's not something to be ashamed of, but it is something to be replaced. And you do that not by avoiding hugs, not by avoiding women, but by turning your gaze inward for the first time in your life. Start building a self that doesn't need to be touched to be worthy. A self that walks into a room and doesn't measure its power based on who notices, because confidence isn't what you show when you're praised. It's how you move when you're ignored. It's how you respond when the hug is short, when she pulls away first, when the energy feels colder than usual. If your rhythm breaks in those moments, you've lost your grounding. And that's what she's testing. Not because she's malicious, but because she's wired to feel safety. And safety does not come from a man who adjusts his self-perception every 5 seconds. And you might be thinking, so what do I do? How do I fix this? And the answer is unsexy and slow, but it is real. You start by facing the parts of yourself that panic in stillness, the part of you that can't sit alone without grabbing your phone, the part that imagines closeness with every woman who shows you kindness, and you begin training your soul to be unmoved, not emotionally unavailable, but emotionally independent. And the difference is massive, because independence says, I'm fine, regardless, I can share my energy, but I never surrender my identity. And that's what creates the type of confidence she's testing, for the kind that holds her but doesn't collapse when she steps away. The kind that makes decisions not based on keeping her, but based on keeping yourself intact. And if that sounds like a lonely path, good, it's supposed to be, because if you haven't built yourself in solitude, you'll dissolve in relationship. And that's why most of your connections feel unstable, because you're walking into them with invisible contracts saying, please keep making me feel good. And when she doesn't, or when she tests your strength through coldness or distance or delayed replies, you crack. And every crack is a signal. And the worst part is, you don't need to say anything. She feels it in the hug. She feels it when you rush it, when you sink into it, when you let it define your confidence. And the man who doesn't get shaken in those moments, not because he doesn't care, but because he's calibrated beyond reaction, that man becomes rare. And the rarer you become, the less you chase. And the less you chase, the more deeply she wants to stay. Because now her hug isn't about testing anymore, it's about aligning. And if you want to become that man, it starts when you stop seeking emotional paychecks and start building emotional sovereignty. And you'll know you've made it when she hugs you, and your world doesn't change, but hers does. And that legacy you build doesn't stop at the hug. It extends into everything you become after it. Which is why, if you're ready to move from reaction to mastery, from confusion to clarity, from being tested to being unshakable, the Stoic relationship blueprint is your next step. It's not just a book. It's a tool forged in timeless principles that will rewire the way you see yourself, women, and your place in every connection you enter. And now it's available in audiobook format, so you can absorb this life-changing truth while walking, driving, or working out. Because real change isn't waiting for the perfect moment. And once you get it, it's yours forever. Always ready to realign you, anchor you, and remind you that you never needed anything outside of yourself to be chosen. You only needed to remember who you are. Link is in the comments. Grab it now and carry this power with you wherever you go. Number 2. She's checking your emotions. The moment her arms wrap around you, she doesn't just feel your body, she feels your soul, and not in some poetic way, but in a raw, undeniable way, because women are biologically tuned to emotional rhythm. They feel what you're hiding, and they do it without asking. They assess without needing words. And what she's really feeling in that hug is whether or not you're emotionally present or emotionally fractured, whether you're holding her because you're choosing to, or because you're starving for the feeling. And the pain here is that most of you don't even realize you're starving. You've built your entire identity around being okay. But the second someone embraces you with real warmth, your body starts to tremble. Not physically always, but energetically. It's like your whole nervous system is screaming finally. And that right there is the danger, because what you think is a sweet connection she's experiencing as emotional burden, because now she's no longer just in a hug, she's in a healing session. And she didn't sign up for that. She didn't ask to carry your pain. She didn't ask to feel your unresolved childhood. And when that happens, and it does often, she steps back. Not always literally, sometimes just emotionally. She becomes colder, less responsive, less enthusiastic. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you brought need where you should have brought presence. And this is where most men collapse. They blame her. They say she led them on or accuse her of being cold. But the truth is, she's not reacting to what you said. She's reacting to what you feel. And what most men are carrying is emotional hollowness, a sense of not being enough, a craving to be seen, to be understood, to be chosen, and they mask it with performance, with charm, with humor, with confidence. But the second intimacy enters the picture, the mask falls off, and that hug becomes a spiritual X-ray. And if your soul is filled with need, she'll feel it. And once she does, the attraction begins to fade. Not because she's heartless, but because she's looking for someone who has done the work, not someone asking her to be the work. And if that hurts to hear, then listen closely, because the solution is not to harden yourself and pretend to be distant. It's to become whole, not surface level. Whole, not fake stoicism, but true wholeness, the kind that says I'm good, whether you show up or not, the kind that's built through solitude, reflection, and brutal honesty, the kind where you look at yourself in the mirror and say, where am I leaking emotionally? Where am I pretending to be strong, but secretly hoping someone saves me? And then you address those areas, not by blaming the world, not by blaming women, but by owning your development. Because women don't want perfection, but they do want stability. And that stability can't be taught. It has to be earned. It's earned in the moments when you're rejected and you don't spiral when she pulls away, and you stay grounded when you feel alone, and you don't seek distraction, but you face it head on. And the man who can hold himself like that will give off an energy in his hugs that no woman forgets. Because now she's not embracing need, she's embracing power, not dominance, not aggression, but spiritual weight. And that weight doesn't come from lifting heavy. It comes from lifting your own emotional brokenness and transforming it into stillness. And when she feels that, she stays, not because you asked, not because you impressed her, but because you gave her something she rarely experiences: peace. And women will always be drawn to peace because their world is often full of chaos, and the man who doesn't add to it becomes priceless. And if you want to be that man, you need to stop outsourcing your emotional regulation to her hugs, her texts, her attention, and start building an internal state that is untouched by temporary affection. Because she's not your mother, she's not your therapist, she's not your savior. And the second she senses that you want her to be, she'll leave, maybe not physically but spiritually, and you'll feel it. She'll be colder, she'll laugh less, she'll hug shorter, and you'll wonder what happened. And what happened was simple: you failed the emotional audit. And the truth is, you don't get to complain about it because you were carrying pain you never dealt with. And if you want to make sure you never put that on another person again, then now is the time to start processing it. Write down your shame, your guilt, your secrets, your regrets. Bring them to light and dismantle them. And when you do, every interaction with a woman changes. Not because she changed, but because you did. And now your hug becomes an invitation, not a request, a gift, not a burden. And when you can live like that, move like that, hold like that, you'll stop wondering if she feels something, because you'll be too grounded to care. And ironically, that's when she feels everything. Number 3, she likes you. When she hugs you and there's a softness in her arms, or a lingering pause in her release, or the way she leans her head just slightly more into your shoulder, you feel it, and you know it's different, and your instinct says maybe this means something. Maybe this is her way of saying she feels what I feel. And in that moment you're tempted to believe that her affection is confirmation. But what you don't see is that while she may like you, she will never hand that to you clearly, because she doesn't want you to feel secure just yet. She wants to see what you do with the tension she's creating. And the reality is that most men fail this, because the moment they feel liked, they become dependent on it, they relax too soon, they let go of their standards, their discipline, their edge, and they start pouring into her emotionally, physically, mentally, trying to reward her for what felt like an invitation. But what you don't realize is that her like is not a gift. It's a probe she's watching. If your focus shifts now that you've felt desired, if your effort pivots from purpose to pursuit, and when it does, she recalibrates. She feels your energy tipping from presence to validation seeking, and it kills the spark, because now you're performing, you're reacting, you're hoping that her like turns into love, and you forget the very thing that attracted her in the first place, which wasn't your affection or your praise, but your composure, your self-sufficiency, your emotional rhythm. And when that's gone, she steps back, not always with explanation, but definitely with decision, and you're left wondering what happened. And what happened is that you mistook attraction for attachment. You assumed that, because she liked you, you could now invest emotionally without boundaries. And the deeper truth is that liking you doesn't mean she respects you, and respect is the root of sustained connection, not interest, not chemistry, not even desire, because a woman can be wildly attracted to a man she would never date. And the difference is in how he handles her energy when she's close. Does he lose his structure or maintain it? Does he shift into emotional openness or stay measured? And when you collapse too soon, when you expose your emotional need too early, you rob her of the process that builds real intimacy, which is not instant. It is earned and layered and slow and filled with tension and withdrawal. And the man who can stay centered in that uncertainty becomes magnetic, not because he's manipulative, but because he's unbothered by unpredictability. He doesn't chase her when she becomes inconsistent. He doesn't explain himself when she becomes vague. He doesn't seek closure. He becomes the closure. And if she likes you, you'll know not by what she says, but by how she returns her effort. After she tests your detachment, does she come back after you didn't respond the way every other man did? Does she initiate more when you didn't panic, when she withdrew? Does she start to deepen when you didn't fold under her silence? That is the evidence of real attraction, and it only shows up for men who stay still when everything in them wants to reach. And that stillness isn't easy. It's earned through failure, through rejection, through moments where you wanted to scream or beg or text just to feel seen and you didn't. And now your body has learned that stillness is power. And when she hugs you and feels that calm in your arms, that lack of jumpiness, that refusal to interpret the moment as a green light, to give your whole heart, she feels safe. Not in the way society defines safety as weakness or softness, but in the way women crave safety as strength. The safety to know you won't collapse under emotional shifts. The safety to know your identity is not built around how she responds, and when she feels that she leans in, not out, she stops testing because now she respects you, not for your affection, but for your restraint. And if you want to be that man, the one she not only likes, but keeps choosing, you must become indifferent to her validation, not cold, not dismissive, but indifferent in the sense that your day doesn't rise or fall depending on how long her hug is or how tightly she holds you. And that indifference must be rooted in truth, not performance, not pretending, but true internal stability, the kind you cultivate when you stop needing women to like you and start needing yourself to be real. And when you live like that, her like becomes a compliment, not a compass. And that is the difference between men who date and men who are chosen. Number 4, she feels your chemistry. There's a moment when her body presses into yours, and it either fits or it doesn't. And she knows it before you even think about it. She doesn't process it logically. She feels it in her skin, in her gut, in the way your breath moves when you exhale against her shoulder. And in that moment, she's not evaluating your looks or your words. She's sensing if the energy between you synchronizes or repels. And this is where most men fail. Not because they lack value, but because they bring noise into the space. And when your mind is cluttered, when you're anxious about how she sees you, when you're hoping she likes the hug, your body reveals hesitation, stiffness, tension. And she reads that not with judgment, but instinctively, because your chemistry isn't about how smooth you are or how charming you sound. It's about how quiet your energy is when you're close. And the reason most men lose in this space is because they think touch is about technique, when it's actually about truth. And your truth speaks through your touch. And if your truth is desperation, she feels it. If your truth is uncertainty, she pulls back. if your truth is hope masked as control. She steps away and you don't even know it. But she's already lost interest, because in that short hug, your entire internal world was broadcasted without a single word. And what makes this harder is that most men think they did fine. They think because they didn't say anything awkward or do anything strange, they passed. But passing isn't about not failing, it's about being felt as solid. And most of you aren't, because you haven't built chemistry with yourself first. You haven't aligned your actions with your values, your words with your truth, your presence with your principles. And that lack of internal chemistry becomes external awkwardness. And when she touches you, she's not just evaluating your body, she's experiencing your alignment or your absence of it. And the man who carries deep internal alignment walks differently, talks differently, hugs differently. And his chemistry isn't electric because he tries to be. It's electric because he is whole, and she feels that wholeness as safety and attraction and tension all at once. And if you want to build that kind of presence, you need to stop thinking about how to impress her and start asking what you believe in, what you stand for, what you're building. And when your day is filled with discipline, when your choices reflect vision, not reaction, when your posture reflects peace, not performance, your body becomes congruent, and that congruence is chemistry. Because now when you hug her, you don't flinch, you don't rush, you don't try to squeeze meaning out of the moment, you let it happen, and your body stays the same. And that sameness, that stability becomes a contrast to every other man who hugs her, hoping to get something. And when you're not hoping, she feels held, not handled. And that's the difference between a man who creates chemistry and a man who tries to copy it. And if you've ever wondered why some men don't look better, don't speak better, but still make women lean in, that's why. Because chemistry is not about height or looks or lines. It's about how regulated your energy is in her presence. And that regulation doesn't come from dating. It comes from solitude, from suffering, from sitting with your darkness and not needing someone else to rescue you from it. And when you've made peace with your own silence, you carry that peace into her chaos, and she relaxes because now she's not around another man who needs her to feel like a man. She's around a man who is a man. And that hug becomes a portal into something she didn't know she was looking for. Not fireworks, not explosions, but the calm electric quiet of being next to someone who is whole. And the longer you can hold that, the more she wants to stay, because now the chemistry isn't a trick, it's a truth, and that truth cannot be faked and cannot be forgotten. Number 5, she's telling others something. When she hugs you in public, it is never just about you and her. In that moment, it is about what she is allowing the world to know about where you stand in her life, because every touch in front of others is a broadcast, every second of physical closeness. Outside the private space is a signal, and too many of you ignore this. You assume affection means consistency. You think because she kissed you in the dark or laid on your chest that it means she'll hold your hand in the light. And then you're confused when she avoids standing close to you in front of others, when she hugs you sideways, when she looks around before leaning in, and you justify it. You tell yourself, maybe she's shy, maybe she's private, maybe she doesn't want people in her business, but you ignore what's real, which is that when a woman is truly proud to be next to you, she doesn't hide it, she doesn't perform neutrality, she doesn't minimize you when others are watching. She leans in because presence with a man she respects doesn't require secrecy. And if she is hugging you differently in public than in private, that is not mystery, that is avoidance. And you better pay attention, because you're being told the truth in silence. And here's the uncomfortable part: she might still sleep with you. She might still laugh at your jokes. She might still talk about deep things. But when she chooses not to show public ownership, it means she hasn't claimed you, not emotionally, not mentally, not socially. And you may be living in a fantasy, thinking she's just not into PDA, when really, she's keeping her options open, preserving her image, crafting a story for someone else. She's still hoping shows up, and the reason this hits hard is because you know when it's happening, you feel the difference. You feel how she shifts next to you when another man walks by, how she pulls her hand away when her friends approach, how she introduces you vaguely, how she keeps your name out of captions, and you pretend it doesn't matter. You pretend you're above that kind of thing. But deep down, you want to be seen, you want to be chosen, and you want to be acknowledged. And there is no shame in that, but there is weakness in staying in a dynamic where you are minimized. And if you're in that space now, you need to stop lying to yourself, because her hug in front of others is the clearest indication of how she sees you. And if you ignore that, you will end up drained, humiliated, and confused, because you mistook access for admiration. You thought just because you were close physically, that meant you had significance. But significance is not measured by what she says in private. It's measured by how she stands with you when the eyes are on. And if she hides you or dilutes you, then it means she's not ready to be aligned with you. And your job is not to convince her. Otherwise, your job is to take that information and act accordingly, which means stepping back, emotionally, closing the access gate, taking your presence where it's appreciated, not hidden. And that doesn't mean arguing or demanding a title. It means observing how she behaves and making peace with what that reveals. Because most of you are exhausting yourselves, trying to earn public validation from women who already decided to keep you in the shadows. And you wonder why you feel insecure, why you keep asking if things are okay, why you replay conversations and moments, because your intuition knows what your pride won't admit, that she's using you for what you provide while keeping the door open for someone else. And if you want to stop being that man, you need to stop negotiating for acknowledgement and start moving with men who value visibility in relationships. And that begins by changing your internal standard. No more chasing titles, no more accepting vagueness, no more dating in secret while hoping for recognition. If she's not proud to stand next to you in front of everyone, she doesn't deserve your closeness in private. And when you start living by that principle, everything changes: your confidence, your clarity, your energy. You walk into relationships different because now you're not looking to be claimed, you're expecting alignment. And that shift will push away every woman who wanted to keep you convenient and draw in every woman who's looking to build something real and public and consistent, because now your hug isn't about access, it's about alliance. And that alliance is no longer something you plead for, it's something you permit when it matches your worth. And when you live like that, you never again wonder where you stand, because your presence becomes so defined that women either stand with you proudly or not at all, and you never chase to change that. Number 6, she's creating a moment you'll both remember. There's a reason she hugs you slowly, sometimes a little tighter than usual, sometimes with a deep exhale, and it's because she's not just giving you a moment, she's capturing one for herself. And whether you realize it or not, you're being recorded in her memory, not by cameras, but by the way you made her feel in that second. And the hug becomes a snapshot of your presence, your stillness, your certainty. And what you don't know is that she replays that later, when she's alone, when she's thinking, when she's comparing, when she's wondering. And if you were frantic, if you were too eager, too nervous, too fast, she remembers that too, and it becomes a feeling she cannot unfeel. And that's what makes this so powerful and so dangerous, because most men are trying to impress with words, with gestures, with planning, but they ignore how they're felt. And a hug done right is more powerful than 100 compliments, because she remembers what you were in, that stillness. Were you safe? Were you soft? Were you certain? Were you needful? And depending on that answer, she either longs to come back to you or silently decides to drift. And you'll never know directly, because she won't tell you. She'll just slow her replies, shift her energy, show up colder. Not because she's trying to be cruel, but because her memory tells her she was the strength in that moment. And if you're the kind of man who leaves someone emotionally heavier than when they arrived, you will always be remembered but never returned to. And this is the truth. Most won't tell you, because everyone is busy talking about confidence and attraction. But not enough people are telling you how much weight your stillness holds or doesn't. And if your presence is like an anchor, if your hug makes her feel like time paused, like she could stay there forever, not because you were squeezing, but because you were stable, then she locks that into her mental library, and it becomes the baseline she judges every future interaction against. And you want to be that man. You want to be the one she compares others to, not because you're perfect, but because you made her feel peace, not pressure. And if you want to do that consistently, you must train your energy to be remembered for how little it asks and how much it offers. And that means doing the work alone, daily, building a life you love, walking into rooms without noise, carrying yourself without desperation, because that's what she feels when she hugs you. Is this man building something? Is he full, or is he hoping I'll fill the gaps? Is he offering strength or borrowing comfort? And when you build yourself so well that the hug becomes an extension of your identity and not a performance of your desire, you create moments she not only remembers, but craves again and again. And that is the difference between being a moment in her timeline and being a benchmark in her evolution. And the only way to get there is to live with such intensity of focus and clarity of value that when she closes her eyes and thinks about you, she feels calm, not confusion. And if you can become that, then every hug you give becomes something sacred, not because of what she gives back, but because of what you carry into it. And you won't need to wonder if she's thinking about you, because you'll know she is not from need, not from lack, but from presence. And that presence will live in her long after you've let go, because true energy isn't measured in time, it's measured in impression. And if your impression is born from truth, stillness, and structure, it cannot be replaced. It can only be remembered, and that memory becomes your legacy, not in her heart, but in her story. And that is where real men live, not in her texts, not in her likes, but in the silence where she compares everything to the way you made her feel in a single, unforgettable embrace. If you're still watching, it means something inside you knows the truth. You've felt it, lived it, been burned by it. And you're tired of pretending not to notice how society wants you emotionally tamed, mentally distracted, and spiritually lost. But the Stoic relationship blueprint breaks that spell completely. It's the forbidden manual every man was supposed to discover before the heartbreak, before the chase, before the collapse, and now it's finally available in audiobook format, so you can start transforming your mind while walking, training, working. Because evolution waits for no one, and the men who delay this will stay trapped in cycles they were born to outgrow. If you're done being confused, exhausted, and taken for granted, click the link in the comments, grab your copy now, and never look back. And if you're ready to take full ownership of who you are and where you're going, comment, "I claim my blueprint," like this video, subscribe, and help make sure this truth reaches the more man before it's too late.